Update. Sorry for any typos or misspelt words. I'm not quite sure if this is the proper way to do an update, but hopefully everyone can see it. First, I just want to address a few comments. You can skip this part if you don't care. I know I had a stillborn. The only reason I say miscarriage is because that is what my obstetrician told me was happening. Second off, some people have been saying this story is fake because of the way I described the argument. Falling on my knees, pure betrayal. Yes, I figured I spelt it wrong. I can assure you it's not. I cannot make anyone believe me, but this is my life, so you can either think it's fake or not. Here's the update everyone's been asking for. Buckle up. It's a long one. After posting my story on Reddit, I sat on my bed, wiping my tears and telling myself I will not take this disrespect. I walked downstairs, shutting my nursery door on the way. I was greeted with everyone comforting my sister-in-law. I kindly asked everyone besides my sister-in-law and husband to respectfully get the out of my house. After all of the dirty looks and shaming, it was just my husband, sister-in-law, and myself. They sat themselves on the couch, not saying anything. I sat with them. The silence felt like forever. None of us had anything to say. I knew I'd have to start the conversation. I looked at my husband and said, "Did you decide?" He looked at me just staring. I asked again in a firm tone this time. He ended up mumbling some sort of insult and I couldn't really make out what he said. Something with bitchy. I stood up and told them both to get out. Then they wanted to talk, telling me that this is all a misunderstanding. They're sorry, blah, blah, blah. I grabbed a backpack from my shoe closet and told them to pack their shit. My sister-in-law told me I couldn't just make her leave and I was a horrible person. I laughed in her face and told her this is my house and I can do whatever I want. My husband stood next to me and told her it was only for a little while. I turned to him and said, "Oh, you too, get out." He got all mad and told me we were a married couple and that this isn't how marriage works. Awfully hypocritical of him, isn't it? I told him, no, it's not. Marriage is where two people support each other and not treat their wife like shit. They both ended up leaving after many insults towards me. Oh, but wait, it's not over. This morning I was getting ready for a Zoom meeting with a few coworkers when my husband showed up. I let him in, telling him to get whatever he needed and to go because I had to work. He started apologizing, telling me he wants to make it right. I told him I just need time away from him. Then he threw in my face, "Well, it's not my fault. You lost our children. Maybe this would have never happened. My sister was right. You are selfish." Dude, I would like to meet this man, and I would like to have a conversation with him. I have never, ever made my husband feel like he cannot grieve with me over this. Never made him feel less than because of his pain. I turned around and slapped him in the face. I never condone violence, and I'm very upset I would ever do that to another human, but I just couldn't deal with this. He took a step back and then threw all of my makeup on the floor, which I get, but then he started breaking all of my decor in my bathroom. I yelled at him to stop and that I was sorry, but he just kept going, even going as far as punching a hole in my bathroom wall. It was like I was seeing all of his bottled up emotions from our children's death come out, but he went too far when he tried to grab me, yelling in my face. I kicked him off and told him to get the out. He walked out of the bathroom and I watched him break a few more items as he left. The second he left, I had a panic attack, looking at the mess he made, to even just seeing how much he hid his pain. I called my mother and told her everything that has been happening. I don't talk to my family much due to some past trauma with them. She told me she was on her way. The second she got there, I just broke down and she held me. Then she stood up and started taking pictures of everything he broke. I asked her what she was doing and she turned to me and said, "We're suing this POS." I honestly didn't even argue. I was so hurt by everything my husband did to me. My mom packed up my computer and I grabbed a few outfits. My mom and I drove to a hotel and she insisted on staying with me. While I finished up work, my mom called a locksmith and my attorney. I will be divorcing him as well. So there it is. The update everyone has been waiting for. I feel guilty for just giving up on my husband and 8 years of our marriage, but it's time for a divorce. I can't live like this, and neither can my husband. I wish I could say we moved on, forgave each other, and that I got to see my sister-in-law have her baby, but that's not reality. If anything else happens, I will let you all know. Thank you guys for the support and the help with this situation. Exactly what needed to happen. She needs to get away. And either, yes, locksmith, that's great, but I have a feeling he's not going to just go away. You may end up having to have a protection order. You may end up needing to move. And yeah, he dealt with his trauma in a very different way by projecting positivity onto his sister-in-law, which was misplaced and misguided, and then just let it all blow up. But it's not his house. So there's probably some criminal charges involved here too for him just destroying property. He's probably gotten himself into a heap of shit here. Everybody needs therapy here. Everybody. Everybody in the story needs therapy. I don't know what kind of past trauma there is involved with mom, OP's mom, but tagging her in the way that she stepped up and showed up. Thank God she had that person, at least that one person in her life that she could collapse for. Because prior to this, she was holding her shit together just because she had no one. She had no one to hold her up. Her husband wasn't there for her. at all. She was on her own, and having to try to hold your shit together when you're on your own is a dark, dark place. So to have mom step in, regardless of whatever past bullshit is involved there, to be there for her, that's huge. Ascon 1 doesn't begin to describe sister-in-law and husband in this story and his entire family, or whoever was there for this freaking party that showed up and knew the circumstances. It's disgusting. Again, my sorrow for OP overshadows my anger, and my anger is substantial.